Okay, Roger. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Ann Sale is putting on a happy face for her son Roger.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
While internally, the alarm bells are blaring.
It's evil. It's evil. It really is. Because they don't care about these kids.
Enter. As you can see, he's now pushing through.
Roger receives his food and his medicine through a feeding tube. He battles seizures on a daily basis, but it's the latest obstacle that Sale fears could be her son's undoing. A government proposal to shut down the Northern Virginia Training Center, Roger's home for the last 38 years.
How many times do they have to do it in the other states where they see people die and everything when they go out? Our children are being put out there as the guinea pigs, and it's frightening.
Jane Anthony's son Jason lives at NVTC too. Both mothers share the same concern, that their sons are medically fragile, in need of specialized care, and in their words, forced into a community setting that lacks the means and capability to care for them. And they're not alone.
This is a travesty. This is totally an injustice.
I think it's an outrage.
Shock, distress.
Devastated. I feel like we've been stabbed in the back. Trust isn't very high right now. Fear is very high.
This is hard, and we have a lot ahead of us.
Virginia's Secretary of Health and Human Resources says he's sympathetic
There you go.
to what some families are going through.
You have the good news of we're really doing something transformational that needs to be done, balanced by the realities of the disruption for a lot of folks.
Dr. Bill Hazel calls the new deal struck in January between Virginia and the Department of Justice on how best to serve the disabled population both groundbreaking and painful at the same time.
I have needed support in my life.
Hazel says the agreement will improve community care for thousands of Virginians by adding more than 4,000 Medicaid waiver slots that don't exist now for desperate families over the next decade. Waivers that guarantee critical services like medical care and respite that many caretakers see as the difference between life and death.
Waiver services changed our lives. Prior to us receiving waiver services, we lived in the projects. It was putting out one fire after the next, living in survival mode.
We need to spend our money efficiently.
But Hazel acknowledges the deal with the DOJ also includes the closure of 4 of the state's 5 institutions, NVTC in 2015, and the rest shuttered by 2020 under the deal. The agreement also cuts some 3,000 state jobs spaced out over the same 8-year time frame. Virginia, Hazel explains, will be fundamentally changing its model of caring for the disabled.
The belief is that this life that's more integrated into the community for most people will actually be a healthier, better life than actually having this population segregated off by themselves.
A college campus is segregated. There's so many segregated places.
Ann Sale admittedly doesn't like the state's philosophy.
There's Spider-Man with Roger.
That someone like her son
Take that mask off.
can't have a high quality of life at an institution.
Roger, Spider-Man.
But like so many of the parents who relayed their fears to CBS 6 on a sun-splashed winter afternoon,
They're just not going to be met in the community.
Sale and the others told us they're more unnerved by the alternative.
That is totally inappropriate.
That 1,000 people currently living in institutions would be moved into group homes or intermediate care facilities under the state's direction.
There's a huge variety of these disabilities, but the unifying factor is that there's not a one of them that could thrive in the type of community setting that is available currently.
If the system were ready and willing, don't you think us parents would want to go for what's best for our child? What happens here is when you need it, their needs change. This is the intensive care unit, and the infrastructure is not built in the community.
And that's a charge Secretary Hazel doesn't deny.
It will be a work in progress.
That Virginia isn't ready to make that transition, at least not right now.
You can't take 1,018 people and just put them out on the streets without the systems there to take care of them. the quality assurance needs to be in place. So we have a lot of work to do, and it's a pretty awesome responsibility, really.
He really needs to be suctioned now.
A responsibility for the state, but Sale says an absolute necessity for the families
Since he's gotten more fragile,
who wonder, how will it all turn out?
they're going to keep statistics to keep track of what happens to the kids, but I'm not that thrilled with the fact that Roger might be one of the statistics that says, hey, this doesn't work very well.
Closing institutions is the direction that more and more states are moving in. 13 states and the District of Columbia have no institutions. Parents say they know this is the trend, but they're concerned about possible abuse, neglect, and the quality of care their children will receive once in the community. Sam Brock, CBS 6 News.